Refuse my mother entry to your horse track? Don't expect access to our personal road. My granddad used to own a piece of land next to a horse racetrack. Their land almost surrounded my granddad's except for him having access to a heavily trafficked public road. The racetrack was laid out in such a way that their exercise track was placed north of my granddad's land while the main track with the stadium was placed to the south. Way back when the racetrack was built, they had asked my granddad if they could transport their horses across his land. There was already a maintenance road in place, and as they only moved their horses, he didn't really mind as they also supported the local village. As a small thank you for this, they allowed him and his guests to watch the races for free. Normally it cost around $5 in our local currency, not that much, but it allowed him to take me and all my cousins to watch the horses for free. Anyhow, fast forward a couple of years and my granddad passed away. My mother, who inherited the land, tried to bring her grandchild, my niece, to the racetrack to see the horses just as my granddad used to too. At the counter, she is told that she has to pay for admission, not really that big of a deal as she thought that they didn't know that she now owned the land. Afterwards, however, when she writes to the track to rectify the situation, they tell her that she won't be admission free as it was a one-time deal they had struck with my granddad that now is off. Enter the petty revenge. A few months later, when we had planned to cut down some of the trees for lumber, my mother told the contractors to accidentally leave 1 or 2 logs across the maintenance road. The racetrack, now having to load their horses on trolleys as they had to use the busy public road instead of our maintenance one, almost immediately sent an email to my mother apologizing and offering her that same deal as my granddad had received, if we would remove the logs. She only informed them that the one-time deal they had struck with my granddad was off. In the end, after some wrangling, we ended up with a deal where they now have to pay my mother around $400 every month in addition to her and her guests having free admission. The time I made my ex mad by making friends with the woman he cheated on me with. In my early 20s, I lived with my ex-boyfriend. I was gullible and believed every word that came out of his mouth. I believed him when he said he worked late hours. Abs came back at 4 a.m. and made up excuses to keep me from meeting his friends and family and let him isolate me and hide me away. Well, one day his grandmother passes away from natural causes. This is pre-COVID, and he was devastated, so I asked if he wanted company or to be left alone to grieve. He of course wanted to go alone, and so I let him. I got a call from someone who knew both me and my ex informing me that he did in fact take his girlfriend to the funeral, but that person was not me. She had been introduced to his family, taken on date after date, and he had played dad to her 1-year-old. My heart sunk right to my feet that day, and so did hers once she found out about me. My friend got us in contact and we talked for hours. We laughed, cried, and in the end decided to dump that man and be friends. He absolutely hated it. We became extremely close after that. I took her to her 21st and drunk sat her after she got sick all over me, and we took each other on a date, and even to a concert that her family got tickets for. To this day, I have her in my phone as the wife, even though we are both married to wonderful men. Never piss off the photographer. Never. I'm not a professional photographer, but friends and family ask me to take photos for them all the time. I love portrait photography and I'm happy to do the favor, but sometimes people are really awful/annoying, and then it really grates that I'm spending my evening/weekend shooting and then processing photos for free. A few years ago, I had a really bad client. A colleague asked me to do a family shoot on Mother's Day. I knew I'd have the morning to play with before going to see my own mom, so I accepted. It was going to be at a winery in the country, and my colleague offered to pay for me to join them for brunch. Bonus. We carpooled, and it wasn't until we got there that I realized that it wasn't just going to be my colleague, her husband, and her kids. It was my colleague's husband's entire family, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents, and even both grandmas. 27 people. I'm immediately panicking about how long it's going to take to do this shoot and mention to my colleague, C, and her husband, CH, that I have to leave in 3 hours to get back for my family Mother's Day. CH says it'll be fine. I don't really have a choice, as we carpooled, so I try and relax and have fun. Brunch goes on forever, and when we're finished we only have an hour for photos. I figure that should be fine, if cutting it close, and I ask for CH's help in keeping his family organized and moving. I plan out the normal shots with CH, everyone together, family groups, kids, and then CH starts asking for couple shots as well. Then siblings. I text my family, let them know I'll be a little late, but hoping it won't be too bad because CH will keep people moving. An hour and a half later and everyone is having a bad time. The kids are crying. It's taking forever to get any shots at all. Why? Because CH is yelling at people, hurling commands and orders, barking, foaming at the mouth. It's incredibly awful. The winery people come over a few times and ask us to keep it down. CH yells at them too. I'm praying that they kick us out. I try telling CH that I have to leave, that we can try again for photos another time. The family tries to leave. We are stopped. No. We must endure. When he tells his son that he's going to knock the snot out of him if he doesn't stop crying, something snaps in me. I stop trying to cheer people up, get fun photos, happy smiles. I just take the photos we need to so we can all just GTFO. When I eventually get home, I do what I can with these miserable photos. I combine different frames to get group shots where everyone looks happy. Where that doesn't work, I touch up facial expressions so people look less harried. I steal bits from candid shots earlier in the day. These are impossible masterpieces when I'm through with them. I spend hours and hours making sure these pictures are going to hang in living rooms forever. Then I go through every single fucking photo featuring CH, absolutely everyone. And just enough to be slightly noticeable, just enough to look weird and awkward. I enlarge his head. A picture is worth 1,000 burns. So, I had been with Ben for 18 years before I'd finally had enough and asked for a divorce. He moved several hours away near his mom. Also, Minnie left me to raise our kids by myself with little child support and never seeing the kids. I decided it was time to have a family portrait done as it had been a while. We went and had a sitting. As we were looking through the digital images to pick out what to order, my oldest asked if we could send one to Grandma, his mother. I told her that I didn't think Grandma would want a picture worth me in it, but I would be happy to order her a picture of just the kids on it. My oldest swore Grandma would want me in the pics and always made sure to ask about me and how I was doing. Heard from Ben's best friend that he hated the fact his mom told him he screwed up the best thing that ever happened to him and that she still remained friends with me on FB. I was kind of surprised. My ex was extremely verbally and emotionally abusive to me during our marriage, which is why I ended it. I never knew his mom actually thought so highly of me. Only ever saw her a couple days a year at Christmas. No issues, just never grew close. So my oldest calls up Grandma right there in the studio and asks her if she'd want a picture with me in it or with just the kids. Grandma asked specifically for a picture with all of us, including me. So, I decided to order her a nice glossy 8x10 that I had matted and framed and mailed that to her. Apparently, she hung it right in the entryway, where every time my ex walks in, he sees my smiling face staring back at him. LOL. I just wish I could have seen the expression on his face the first time he saw it. My cheating BF of 8 years likes to go through my stuff. Careful what you might find, stud. My now ex, BF, we'll call him Bob, was cheating on me. Bob had a habit of digging through my stuff and reading my private journals, bank statements, just intrusive AF. The day I found out he was cheating, I took my anger and got creative. I copied the letterhead from my healthcare provider and forged a letter from my gynecologist informing me I had genital herpes and a handful of other nasty STIs. I stuck the letter under the mattress because I knew he snooped around there and waited. I'll never forget the look on his face when he found that letter. The panic on his face when he realized that whatever diseases I had he had given me. Ah, so sweet. So petty. So a guy has mislead me and I mirrored his own shitty behavior knowing it would hurt him. In a nutshell, was seeing a guy who I met randomly through a friend. He's asked me on multiple dates and I have straightforwardly told him that I'm not looking for just a hookup, to which he assured me that his intentions were different, that he felt like this could go somewhere. Fast forward a month of us going on dates, talking, him being the perfect gentleman, we sleep together and 2 days later I get hit with a "I've realized I'm not ready for anything serious right now and I want to be transparent with you. Let's keep it casual" bullshit. How convenient. So I've decided not to be an adult and play his game. I pretended to be confused but then said that it's better for us both this way. He immediately called me and started asking why, to which I responded, "Well, I realized I don't want anything serious with you," which made him go insane. It's been a week and he's calling me every day wanting to spend time with me, trying to make me want him apparently. One thing that changed is now he's getting the full-on random hookup option treatment, obviously. Sort of been suggested this sub, after realizing I'm by far not villain here. Don't throw your gloves on the ground. Quick and simple petty revenge. I leave the grocery store this morning for my family's essentials, and as I'm loading my car, lady next to me takes off her gloves and threw them on the ground. "Miss, don't litter." I'm given the sailor salute and she gets in her car. So I just walk over, pick up her gloves, lift up her windshield wiper and jam them through them and smack it down. I can see her shouting and going crazy in her car. Don't care. Get in mind and drive off. Don't fucking litter, assholes. My always late ex-friend made us 30 minutes late to a surprise birthday party, so I sent her to an expensive restaurant with an empty gift card to prove a point. A few years ago, I, 22F, had a friend, Alex, 24F, who was always late. She was also the kind of person who would tell you, "I'm on my way," when she was not, in fact, on her way. That one trait of hers caused me quite a lot of inconvenience. One time, we both were invited to a surprise birthday party for our mutual friend. Clearly written on the invitation was something along the lines of, "Be sure to arrive at 6 p.m. Do not be late, or you will miss the surprise." Come the day of the party, she and I had agreed to meet at my house and drive over together. Around 5 p.m., I asked her when she would be at my place. She told me she would be there around 5:30, which was great because the party was about 30 minutes away. At 5:30, I called her to ask where she was, and she told me she had not even left yet. She then promised that she would be there in 5 minutes. I figured that was okay because she lived fairly close by. Long story short, she ended up getting to my house at 6. I was mad. We left immediately and made it to the party around 6:30. By that time, the surprise had obviously taken place and the party was in full swing. I mentioned to her that I was really bothered that she had been late. Not only that, but she had strung me along and lied to me and prevented me from being on time. She responded by saying things like, "It's not that big of a deal," and "We were only 30 minutes late," and "Don't be so dramatic." At that point, I was sick of her being late and her attitude. Being late, lying, and downplaying someone's feelings are all rude. So, I went to a nearby steakhouse and took a gift card without putting any money on it. I wrote $30 on the card and gave it to her a few days later, telling her it was a random gift for being my friend. A few days after that, I got a text from her asking if I was sure I activated the card. I told her yes, I was sure, and asked her why she was asking. She responded by saying she had gone to the restaurant with some friends without her purse and tried to use the gift card, but it wasn't working. It was at that point that I gave myself away by responding with, "Oops, I guess I was wrong, and it's not that big of a deal, and you're only $30 short." She immediately picked up on what I was doing, and I proceeded to receive a few very angry texts about how embarrassed she was and how rude and disrespectful I was for doing that. All of this just because I was a few minutes late, blah, blah, blah. I simply responded with, "So you're saying if I tell you one thing then do another, and it directly impacts your life in a negative way, that is disrespectful? And if you get mad at me for it, and I downplay your feelings, that is rude? Am I understanding you correctly?" She didn't respond. I found out later that none of her friends were willing or able to cover her dinner, so she had to stay about 30 minutes later for her parents to rescue her. We didn't talk much after that. Hopefully, she learned a valuable lesson. I sure had a great time teaching it. Bully my girlfriend at work? Good luck getting hired at my company. I'm a 26-year-old man that works as a program coordinator at my company. We're a 1,000-person team that focuses on supporting the military with defense contracts. My girlfriend is 22 years old and works as a bartender while she's finishing up her final year of university. She's sweet, shy, and makes me laugh every time we hang out. I love her so much. But one of her coworkers, Megan, is a complete ass to her when they work together. Cusses her out in front of diners, belittles her when she makes a mistake, reports every little infraction she makes to the general manager, etc. This woman is in her late 30s and still acting like a high schooler. My girlfriend has reported this behavior several times to management, but they just wave it off. Several nights she's cried into my shoulder, talking about how badly she wants to quit as I reassure her that Megan is trash and she doesn't deserve being treated that way. One afternoon, I came into the restaurant while my girlfriend was working the bar. Sure enough, Megan was also there along with another young guy. The young guy and I are talking about our career goals when he asks what company I currently work for. Defense contracting company, I respond. "Oh hey, Megan just applied there, right?" he says, turning to Megan. "Didn't you apply for defense contracting company?" "Yes," Megan replies, not making eye contact with me. "Oh, what position?" I ask. "A warehouse one," she answers. That's all I needed. That night, I asked my girlfriend what Megan's last name was, and the following morning I immediately headed towards the warehouse manager's office. We maintain a good, professional relationship. I informed him that a woman named Megan ________ had applied for some type of position under his department and warned him that she was prone to cause trouble. He thanked me for informing him, and I went about the rest of my day as normal. That was 2 months ago. Last I heard, Megan was still working as a bartender at my girlfriend's restaurant. I applaud her for trying to move up in the world. Maybe she's looking to get health benefits. Maybe bartending is getting to be too much as she ages. But I don't think anyone else deserves to suffer from her workplace attitude. I think she's exactly where she needs to be for the rest of her life. Messy guests trashed their room. I sent evidence of their messy lies home with them. Hey, today I did something out of nothing but pettiness, but I feel I've done the right thing in the long run. Don't get me wrong, this was done purely for my own satisfaction, but reflecting, I feel I'd want to know this sort of thing if I was in guest GFS shoes. I recently started a new job as a housekeeper at a popular chain hotel, and while I'm enjoying it, the vomit rooms from stag do's etc. really irritate me. They always somehow manage to get it on the only carpeted area of the room, and it puts me behind schedule having to scrub at the carpet. This one room today really took it to the next level, rubbish scattered about, food jammed down the sides of the bed as well as vomit patches all over the room. It took a while to get through all the mess, but toward the end of clearing I found a birthday card addressed to the guest on the floor. The card was open and read, "Happy birthday, guest. I love you so much. Have a great birthday weekend away. I'm going to miss you so much. Love, Beth." I picked up the card to bin it, and when I closed it, I saw the front read, "To my amazing boyfriend on his birthday." My eyebrows immediately raised. I had just picked up multiple condom wrappers, seen the used ones in the bin, as well as finding a pair of used women's underwear and a torn dress in the sheets. I was originally going to throw the dress and underwear away, as they were both clearly torn beyond wear, and the guest had most likely intended for me to do that, but damn, I was mad about that vomit and crusty food. This poor girl has been cheated on by a man who trashed the hotel room, but luckily for her, he pissed me off. I took the torn dress and underwear down to reception and logged them into our lost and found with the room number attached. Our system always sends a copy of lost item emails to the emergency contact as well, just in case the guest misses the email. The cheater and his emergency contact will soon receive a friendly email with a photograph of the forgotten items and a description of what they are and where they were found in the room. Who is his emergency contact? His GF, Beth, smiley face.